Welcome to this crash course. This is where I'll teach you how to create the perfect product as a business owner. It doesn't matter if you sell services or physical products, the insights contained in this course will help you offer your prospects and customers what they will see and love instantly. So if you're a business owner, you're a small business owner, I think you should pay attention to the information contained in this course, because I'm simply going to open your mind, to how you can formulate the perfect product that people would see and would love to buy, despite being in a competitive market or a saturated market. So just stay with me throughout this course. Now, just like I said, this is a crash course. This means it's not going to be quite comprehensive, it's not going to address every single detail. However, I've made sure that the course touches on all the basics you must know concerning how to build the perfect product. Hopefully in the future, I may create an extended edition that can be considered more comprehensive. So, if this is your first time on my channel, before I proceed with this teaching, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Like this video immediately. Kindly do this now, because it's the least you can actually do to support the channel and encourage me to publish more high quality information like this. So having said that, I think we can now dive into the course. So what is a perfect product? I think we should start with this. Let us have an understanding of what we want to discuss. So let me begin by saying that a perfect product doesn't mean that the product is flawless or completely without defects. In fact, that may be practically impossible. But in the context of what I'm about to teach in this course, a perfect product refers to a product that is largely acceptable to a target audience. Why? Because it appeals to their emotions and solves needs that other similar products, have failed to solve. So in every industry, we have counterparts, we have competitors, doing the same business. Now, if you look at it, you will see that some businesses are actually standing out and selling more. Now, this is not an accident. It's because they have been able to create a perfect business model, a perfect product. It doesn't mean that the product does not have faults. No, that's not the context of what I'm teaching you. What I'm actually trying to tell you is that a perfect product is something that people want to buy, even though it's not going to be without flaws. People just want to buy it due to certain reasons, and I'm going to delve into that later, in the later parts of this course. So please note that the word product used here refers to both actual products and services. You understand? So whether you are a barber, whether you sell physical items like clothes or hair, whether you dry clean clothes, I don't care what you do, as long as it's a business that offers a product or services, in exchange for money, what you have is actually a product, in quotes. Yeah, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, moving on, let us look at the specific features of a perfect product. You understand? Let us examine some key features of a perfect product so you can get a clear picture of what we are discussing. Now, pay attention. These are characteristics that will make your product an excellent offer, even though there is competition in the market. So the first one is the fact that a perfect product must meet customers' needs. Now, this means it must solve a real problem or fulfill a significant desire. In fact, that is the essence of doing business as an entrepreneur. You need to identify a need, identify a target audience or target market that needs what you have just found, and then you need to give it to them. So that's the whole idea of creating a product in the first place. Now, the next feature that your product needs to have is the high quality factor. Now, this means that your product should be good And when I mean good, it should be long lasting. It should actually do what you have promised that the product will do. It should be durable, it should be reliable, it should perform as expected. That's what it means. Now, the next feature that your perfect product must have is innovation. Now, this might not apply to every business, but for some businesses, for some product or for some services, there needs to be a unique feature, a technological advancement, or approach to make sure that what you are selling stands out from what is already existing, in your market. So the next feature I'll be talking about is aesthetics. Your product needs to be aesthetically pleasing. You need to have an attractive design or an attractive model and color and packaging. You understand? So, for instance, if you are selling, let's say you are selling footwear, even if you're not the one who manufactures the footwear, one way you can make sure that you stand out is to ensure that your packaging, now not even the footwear itself, your packaging needs to be aesthetically pleasing. Find a way to make sure that it's attractive. It looks like it's going to give the prospect or customers value for their money. Now the next feature I'll be talking about is this value for money, just like I just said. Now, customers do not like when they spend money on something and feel like they have been cheated on. They have been cheated, not cheated on. They do not want to spend money and feel like it's a waste of time. That's very, very discouraging. No customer would come back to your business if they feel they've wasted your money, if they feel they've wasted their money rather. So make sure that what you're offering, a product or service, has the value that you have promised. People need to be able to pay for something and be happy that they actually spent their money well. You understand? So the next thing I'll be talking about is customization. This is one of the features that actually makes a perfect product. Now, I'll give you an example. You must have seen, let's say, you must have seen a fancy chair that can be converted to a table, or you must have seen a table that can be converted to a chair, or can be converted to a coffee table or something, or a shelf. You understand? This means the product can be modified or customized to serve a different purpose. Now, depending on what you offer, you can add this feature to make sure that your product is customizable. People want to be able to reuse something for as long as possible. That's it. Let me give you another example. So I'm trying to build a business. I'm trying to build a business in the design industry. And what we are doing is to create design templates for business owners. Now, this means since it's a template, people can buy these templates and edit them to create unique designs. You understand? So this is where the customization feature comes in. It may not apply to your product. This does not apply to every product, but if it does, it's something you should keep in mind. Now, the last thing I'm talking about is support. This is the last feature of a perfect product. Now, if you look at all the large companies that are in the world today, they have a very reliable customer support system. Look at MTN. Look at just look at all the telecommunication companies. Look at other service providers. There's always a customer care. Look at the banks. This means that they are trying to tell you that as a customer, you can bank on them, you can trust them, you can rely on them. So depending on the product or services you offer, you need to reassure your customers that they will get an excellent support when they buy from you. That is very important if you want to create a perfect product. Now, let us look at who determines a perfect product. So let me just say this. There is only one group that determines if your product is perfect or not, and that's the target audience. Even as a business owner, you aren't the one to decide whether you have created a perfect product or not. The prospects you sell to are the ones who will determine that. Now, I always tell people, because I'm a designer as well, I'm a graphic designer. So when I'm maybe designing a logo or designing a flyer or designing even a website, because I design websites too. So I tell the client that whatever you're doing is not just meant for you. So just because you don't have to be selfish when you're building a brand or building a product, you need to keep the interest of your customers or prospects, in mind. So because they are the ones to determine if your product is crap or not. You can actually create something that you think is aesthetically pleasing, or that you think is beautiful and good looking and perfect, but if the prospects do not think what you have created is good, then it's a waste of time. So I need you to understand that. Now let us look at the examples of a perfect product. I'm going to be talking about two examples. The first one is Apple, and Apple is a company, but I'm looking at their product, which is iPhone. Now they have other products. To the best of my knowledge, I know they have the MacBook, they have the iWatch, and they have the iPhone. At least that's what I know. But I'm going to be talking about iPhone because iPhone is, I believe, it is the product that sells more. Now this is one of the most valuable companies in the world, and to be honest, Apple has been existing since as far back as 2005. But to be honest, they were not making money at the time. We had companies like Motorola, Samsung, Nokia who were making all the money. But somehow they were able to craft the perfect product, which is the iPhone. You understand? So they are thriving now, and that's why I'm citing them as an example in this course. So the next example that I'll be talking about here is Meta. And when I mean Meta, I mean Facebook. I'm talking about Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. I'm talking about the sync that has been created with these social media platforms. For example, you can set up an ad campaign on Facebook and have it run on Instagram as well, using a single budget. As of today, you can set an advert campaign from your WhatsApp business account, and then that ad will run on Facebook and run on Instagram. Now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to paint out something here that Meta has been able to do. They have been able to sync Facebook, Instagram, and even WhatsApp and Thread together. Now, this means that you can use all four products in a very synergized way. That's not something any other social media platform have been able to do. You understand? We have Twitter. Twitter is just a single company itself. It does not have a sister company. We have Telegram. We have what else? We have Pinterest. These are just single companies. But Facebook has been able to create like cousins and then merge them together to create the perfect product. So that's why I'm citing them as an example in this course. Moving forward, let us look at how to create the perfect product. I think it's safe to say that this is the most important aspect of this crash course. So let's quickly examine the steps to creating a perfect product. Step 1 is to choose a product or a niche. Now you have to find a product that has demand. The niche could be saturated. The industry you choose could be very competitive, but if there is enough demand, you would still thrive. It's very easy. Let me look for a quick example. So for instance, we have if you look at the car hailing industry, where you have Uber, you have Bolt, you have Lyft, and the rest. To be honest, there are still car hailing services that are just joining the market. Now it may seem like the market is saturated, but these guys will still actually make money because there is enough space for everyone. Is a very the market is in demand. That's the point. So the first step to creating a perfect product is to make sure that the product you choose is something people want, people need, and people will be willing to buy. Now the next thing to keep in mind is to study your competitors proactively. Examine the business models of your competitors and identify areas where they could be lagging behind. Now this is where you can come in. Now if you look at iPhone, for instance, iPhone was able to, not just iPhone, let us look at smartphone, the concept of smartphone. Before smartphone came into the market, we had button phones, we had BlackBerry, we had Nokia, and the rest. But somehow iPhone and other smartphone manufacturers knew that at some point people would get bored of the buttons and just need something they can tap, and that would just do it. And then they came up with iPhone, and then they came up with the concept of a smartphone. So that's them being able to study their competitors and find the areas where they are lagging behind, and then capitalized on that to create something that people would love. The next thing is to fill the loopholes. Now, I always say this, that in every business there is a loophole. Now, when I mean loopholes, I'm talking about lapses that the business owner or company is unaware of. Now, you as a counterpart, as a competitor in that space, in that market, it is your job to identify what your counterparts are doing wrong, and then all you have to do is find possible solutions to the existing problems. Let me look for a very practical and simple example. So let us say we have Mr. A and we have Mr. B selling shoes. Now, Mr. A delivers his shoes and also asks his prospects or customers to pay for delivery. Now, Mr. B feels like customers should not pay for delivery. So what he does is to calculate the delivery fee or delivery cost, into the cost of the product, and then make the customers believe they are not paying for delivery. So it simply says, okay, I'm going to deliver this shoe to you without you paying for delivery. Meanwhile, you have actually included that in the cost of the product. Now, this is just a very simple example on how you can find what your competitors are not doing right and then capitalize on it. So the next thing is to prioritize aesthetics. Now, this is something I briefly talked about earlier. For someone who is buying a product for the first time, one of the most essential things that compel them to buy is the appearance of the product. Sometimes it's not just about the aesthetics of the product, but also the packaging as well. So just keep this in mind. Make sure that whatever you're selling is appealing. People should see that and look like, oh, this is attractive, this is eye-catching, I want to see this, I want to taste this, I want to experience this. So yeah, make sure you keep aesthetics in mind when creating your products. Now, the next point is to address pain points. Now, understand that some products are meant to solve pain points. If your product falls in this category, do well to assess the expectations of your prospects and figure out the pain points they want to solve. Let me see if I can find an example for this. So, for instance, if you are a fitness trainer, let's say you're a fitness trainer, it is very easy to find people who want to shed weight within a certain, within a specific period of time. Let's say within 3 months, within 3 weeks, within 6 months, within a year, without forfeiting some of their practices, like maybe some of the food they eat, or the time they sleep, or the places they go to. You understand? So if you look at this, there is a pain point there. So as a fitness enthusiast or a fitness trainer, it's easy to find someone who wants to lose belly fat or wants to shed weight in their thighs and stuff like that. Now, that's their pain point. You just need to address it and make them believe that you have a better way that they can achieve the results that they desire. In every industry, in every market, every product you're trying to sell, or any service you're trying to sell, there are pain points that your customers have. There are reservations that they have. It is your duty to address these things. Now, let's talk about this: making room for the classist. Now, this is the last thing to keep in mind when creating or formulating the perfect products. Now, this one is a bit funny, I'm not gonna lie. Let me just say this. Sometimes people do not buy a product because they love it or desperately need it. They buy it just to feel among. You will call it peer pressure, you could call it the bandwagon effect, whatever you call it. Me, I call it the classist mindset, or the mindset of a classist. It's classism. People want to do something just to make sure that they belong to a class of people or a group of people. As a business owner, you can capitalize on this. A perfect example is iPhone, Apple. They've been able to understand that the smartphone they create, pushes this propaganda that anyone who uses it is a big boy or a big girl and stuff like that. So these days, almost everyone wants to get an iPhone. I don't use an iPhone, I use an Android, but almost everyone wants to get an iPhone because of the classist mentality. They just want to fit in, in that group. So as a business owner, when creating a product, try to think about adding perks or exclusive benefits that classist prospects may like. Let me see if I can use an example. Let me use my channel as an example. So recently I got monetized on YouTube, and I realized that I can actually create a community. Now this community will be for premium members, people who would actually pay a certain fee, and then they will have access to a lot of perks that an ordinary viewer would not have. Now if you look at this, it can actually work for me, help me to grow my YouTube business, because there are people who love my content and would love to be in an inner circle or in a more exclusive community. Now that's you could actually liken that to the classist mindset. You understand? So whatever you're doing as a business owner, when it comes to like creating products or services for prospects, for your customers, keep this in mind. It might not be applicable to every product, but if it applies to yours, make sure you make room for the classist. Now this brings us to the end of this crash course. If this was an insightful learning process for you, do well to let me know in the comments. And if you have specific questions about things that you couldn't understand, maybe if I was too fast, or if there is an idea that I could not explain properly, please do not hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments. I always look forward to hearing from my audience, to communicating with my audience. So that's it. I'll see you next time.